everyone. I was just admiring my beautiful flowers that my son sent me yesterday. Oh, I had an emotional moment, and I sent him the video of me having my emotional moment about receiving these flowers, and that just tickled him to death. He said, "Why are you crying in the video about some flowers like you just won an Oscar?" That tickled me so bad. But that's my son for you. But look at these. Aren't they gorgeous? And they're blooming. They're popping out. And the colors, is a dozen of them. Peach, white, yellow, and pink. Oh, I think they're gorgeous. But anyway, what are we doing today? We're going to be talking about being frugal. I'm going to go into detail about the ins and outs and the thoughts people have for being frugal, okay? So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm sure you guys have noticed how expensive life has gotten recently. The cost of groceries and gas prices. Here in Michigan, so far the highest I've seen is $4.99 a gallon. $4.99 a gallon. I'm sure it's $5 now. Frugal living is not about suffering. That's something we don't want to feel like we're doing when we're frugally living. It's not about being cheap. And it's definitely not about depriving yourself. Frugal living is about living well without wasting money. Because at this stage in our life, we're probably over 50 or so, peace matters more than having things. Peace matters more than keeping up with other people. You stop chasing the trends. You stop buying things on impulse. And there's one question that will stop a lot of mindless spending, and that is, do I really need this? One question, do I really need this? That has stopped me a few times. I'll look at something and I'll have it in my hand, and the more I look at it, I'm like, do I really need this? No, I don't. So I put it away. I put it back. That one question can save you hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars. Because if you're constantly just buying without thinking, you are wasting your money. But now when people hear the word frugal, they think of somebody sitting in a house with one light on, maybe some boiling eggs on the stove. That's for dinner, with some cheese and crackers. That's not frugal living. That's just, I don't know what that is. But that's not frugal living. No, you don't have to go to that extreme to live frugally. Real frugal living looks like cooking meals at home instead of going to a restaurant and spending $50. Frugal living looks like using what you already have before buying more. That's why before you go shopping, check your cabinets. Make sure you're buying things that you need. I know so many people who they'll buy things and get home and they have the same thing at home. I know somebody who purchased some shoes, and as they were going through their closet, they found that same pair of shoes that they had bought, and then they bought it again. And that's somebody who's, I would say, spending money mindlessly, shopping mindlessly. Frugal living is about spending less so you can sleep peacefully at night. Because if you're constantly spending money, you have no idea how much money you are just spending without thinking. So remember to ask that question. Do I really need this before you purchase anything? It's something, to me, there's something powerful about opening up your refrigerator and making a meal out of what you already have in there instead of running to the store every day, every other day. Make what you already have at home. Everything doesn't have to follow a recipe. Sometimes you create your own recipe just by using the things that you have at home. And those are some of the best meals, really, they are. And a lot of us, we watched our parents and our grandparents live this way. And we had good lives. There didn't seem to be anything missing out of our life. At least I don't remember it. I remember having a wonderful life, a wonderful childhood. I don't remember missing anything. I remember them reusing jelly glasses. Once the jelly was gone, they'd clean out the jar, and that would be a glass in the cabinet sitting there. I remember those. I did it for a little bit, but then I thought, oh, why am I using jelly glasses? I can buy my own glasses. Yeah, you better use what you already have, right? They planted gardens. I remember being out in the garden eating tomatoes all day and coming back in the house, and I had a rash around my mouth from sitting there eating tomatoes and salt. We had gardens, and it was really nice going out there to get your fresh food. Everything was cooked from scratch. There wasn't any canned pasta. You made your own pasta out of the tomatoes that you were growing out of your garden. Everything was just pretty much made from scratch, and it was so much healthier. It was so much healthier for us. When things got broke, they repaired it. They didn't just go out and buy something else. They repaired whatever it is that was broken. And I'm kind of like that myself. When something breaks, if anything in this house is broken, I'm going to fix it right away. I don't like having things broken around me. And like I say, we really had a good life growing up because things were so simple. Today, people are drowning in debt and trying to look rich. Big cars, big houses, big credit card bills. Meanwhile, while they're doing all that and being in debt, the person who's living simply is probably at more peace than the person who's out here trying to look rich. Because when you're financially stressed, I think that ages you more than getting older, because you're worried all the time. You get those worried lines. So stop worrying, stop spending. Think about it. Do I really need this? One thing I've learned is this: every dollar you save makes you feel more free. Freedom from panic, freedom from living paycheck to paycheck, which I used to do all the time. Now it's like I'm on a fixed income, but I actually have money throughout the month. I don't get it. And I guess I was living above my means when I was working. But now, because I'm living frugally, everything seems so much easier now that I've gotten everything organized. And I'm going to tell you, automatic payment has been a lifesaver for me. I don't have to worry about, did I pay that bill? Oh, when is that bill due? I have set up automatic payment for all of my bills, and that just has helped me so much, where I know how much money I have left over every month. I think a lot of us have been emotional spenders, where we buy things because we're sad, we buy things because we're happy, we buy things because we're upset. And I mean, it might help for 5 minutes. Then you're left with a bill. You're left with money that you've taken out to buy this thing that only gave you pleasure for 5 minutes. When you live frugally, frugal living teaches you to slow down, monitor your spending, know what you are spending your money on. That's what frugal living is. It's not this, you're so poor you can't buy anything. It's about making smarter choices when you do make purchases. Frugal living makes you appreciate experiences more than a purchase. Quiet mornings, making coffee, playing with your pets, being outside, smelling flowers. Listening to the birds, working in your yard. sitting peacefully in your own home. Those peaceful, simple things become experiences, and they become a valuable memory for you. Sometimes happiness comes from simplicity, just the simple little things. And honestly, the older I get, the more I understand that. Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear, what do you do frugally that helps you out? Let me know in the comments, okay? You guys, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.